Hey guys, this is Zoe. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so let's get to it. Okay, so first thing you'll want to do is go to the YouTube search bar and put in Sonic Geometry, and it should be the top one right here. Looks like there's another one that came out, Sonic Geometry 2. Looks dope. Here we have, this one has 2.3 million views by Ala Luna. I highly recommend this one. Now, I have it already marked at the 8:54 time marker. So that's the segment. There's like a 3-minute segment that I want to watch with you guys, and then I'm going to share some of my thoughts about it. If you can watch the whole thing or listen to the whole thing, it's only 32 minutes, and I highly recommend that. But right now, we're just going to watch this little segment. Pretty dope video. I used it a lot in my classes when I was on tour, teaching classes on the Teach Peace tour. This and a couple other videos. But this one really helps understand the foundation of sacred geometry. It's such a complex subject that it's really important to get to the root or the basics, and sound is really the basics. It's the most rudimentary element when it comes to geometry. So let's watch and listen.
Important? To the famous philosopher and mathematician Plato, the answer would have been a resounding yes, for it is Plato who advanced the study of two-dimensional geometry into three-dimensional geometry, and who began to recognize that nature, whether expressed as a tone, the petal design of a flower, or the spiraling design of a seashell, seemed to follow a 3D mathematical pattern.
So, quick pause. Plato is the father of the Platonic solids. Platonic solids. That's where that comes from.
In fact, it became an obsession of Plato to try and find the simplest three-dimensional geometric shapes, and his quest ultimately revealed what we now call Platonic solids. In essence, these forms represent the most elemental construction blocks found both in human-made and natural forms. So let's see if and how they fit into our geometry tone grid. First, there is the tetrahedron, or three-sided pyramid comprised of 4 interlocking triangles. As we did before, let's add up all the angles found in those 4 triangles. The answer, 720, which we have already seen is the tone F sharp.
So what they're referring to is they've taken all the angles inside of these corners of all the basic shapes, and they take that number and play that number that as hertz, and those hertz come out as notes.
Next, we have the cube, whose 6 360-degree squares totals 2160. What does it sound like? (2160) is a high C sharp, and as you will see later, a very interesting number for other reasons as well. Next up is the octahedron. Constructed of 8 triangles, this shape totals 1440, which is another perfect F sharp higher up the scale. The icosahedron is made up of 20 triangles, so the total number of degrees is 3600. As a tone, 3600 vibration cycles create the A sharp needed to complete yet another F sharp major chord that sounds like this. At this point, we have seen how 2- and 3-dimensional geometry can be expressed by the notes found in an F sharp major chord. Could this also be true with what is known as sacred geometry? To find out, we will first need to build a design called the germ of life, which, when repeated, goes on to reveal the seed of life, then flower of life pattern found at sacred sites all over the world. First, we start with a circle at 360 degrees, which is the familiar F sharp. We then add our second circle, bringing the total to 720, another F sharp. 3 circles totals 1080, which provides the harmonic fifth of C sharp. 4 circles is 1440, another F sharp. 5 circles totals 1800, or the A sharp needed to once again provide the harmonic third of an F sharp major chord. And finally the 6th circle, which brings the total to 2160, another C sharp. Amazing. It's as if we can now both see and hear the flower of life pattern that has intrigued humankind for thousands of years.
What? Now let me back this up a little bit.
Pentagon. In each of them are angles of degrees that, when added together, always total a specific number relative to that particular shape. For instance, if we take a triangle, the sum total of all 3 interior angles is always 180. For both the square and circle, it is 360. For a pentagon, it is 540. Now at this moment, let's step back and look at these numbers in a different way, as there seems to be something about them that reaches beyond a simple sum of angles. Did you notice that they happen to be in the same numerical neighborhood as tone 432? What's more, they all add up to 9, just like 432. As an experiment, let's take a look at the numbers found in basic geometric shapes, then apply those numbers as vibration cycles to hear the tones they produce. First, let's listen to what the 180 total degrees contained in a triangle sound like.
That's 180 vibrations per
And
second.
here's the squares and circles 360 in cycles per second. A perfect octave up from the triangle. What about the pentagon at 540? That sounds like a harmonic fifth of the other two. That's interesting. What are these tones? They are F sharp and its perfect harmonic fifth of C sharp. Let's keep going. What does a hexagon 720 sound like? Another F sharp. Here's a 7-sided septagon, which totals 900. This is an A sharp, which happens to be the note required to complete an F sharp major chord in perfect 3-part harmony. And finally the octagon, where we get 1080, another C sharp. Suddenly, geometry is expressed by tones, and these tones just happen to create the most beautiful form of music, a perfect 3-part major chord in the key of F sharp.
Legit. Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to show you guys. Another thing is called the Cialdini plates, where they actually, all they do is put salt on a metal plate, and then it's also known as cymatics. They put salt on a metal plate, and then they play sounds underneath it. Here you have the quote from Nikola Tesla: "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." And this is, who's this? Brust Pup. I'm going to actually fast forward this for you guys. So all they've done here is put salt, see, on a metal plate, and they're just playing music or playing tones underneath it with a speaker, and it automatically makes these symmetrical shapes, geometric patterns. What's interesting is what you'll notice too is like when they shift in between. Now you can't hear the actual tone, but when you shift the tone, it's like chaos. So all the shapes come apart like chaos, and then when they shift them into a perfect note, they come back into symmetry and into shape. So harmony. So you have harmony and chaos. That last one was what? 30, yeah, 3032. This is 38, 35. Ooh, and here's the cool thing. This is amazing to me because this is actually the Inca cross. The Inca cross. If you guys look that up, how interesting is that? That the Inca cross shows up, and they didn't have. They supposedly didn't have speakers or sound tools. You know, thousands of years ago, or however long the Incan temples were built. But yet here this sacred symbol shows up in this sound experiment. Inca cross. And so as they go up, you'll notice they become more and more complex as they go higher in frequency. So here's some different. Those ones sort of look like cells. Those are squares. And so on. They become, the higher the frequency, the more complex they become. So yeah, so geometry, is geometry man-made? No, geometry is the subject of geometry is man-made. Let's see, who discovered geometry? It was Euclid. Yep, I knew it. So here's another video, Euclid, the father of geometry. So it's really a discovery. Geometry is in the fabric of the universe. It's woven into matter, actually. Let's look up the flower of life. There's a bunch of cool videos on it. What I actually wanted to do is look it up in images so you guys could see it. But if you look at the flower of life, I mean, you don't have to be a highly educated person to see, like, this is what cells look like if you look under a microscope. This is what sound waves look like. This is what ripples in water looks like. That's the simplest explanation I can give somebody. If you want to use this as a philosophy, this is what people are. This is what society looks like. We are each our own individual, yet part of the whole. And if you believe in the philosophy that we are all part of the creator, whatever you name it is up to you, but whatever you call it. But if we are all the creator having an experience as humans, then the creator is the whole and we are the parts. And we are part of the creator. So it also, like cells in a body, that like if one cell is hurt, the one next to it can experience pain. But if one cell is healing, the one next to it can experience healing. So very much like the philosophy, when we heal ourselves, we heal those around us. So that's just a few. I'm just like very lightly touching on the depth of this one symbol, this one subject. But sacred geometry is, quote unquote, the sacred geometry is the unchanging or universal geometry. There's other geometric shapes, obviously, in the universe, but they aren't necessarily fundamental to matter or time or sound or light. But there is geometry that is found universally in all those things. So that's what makes it, quote unquote, sacred geometry. There is a metaphysical aspect, there's a physics aspect, there's a biological aspect, there's an architectural aspect, there's an artistic aspect. There's all different ways to look at sacred geometry and utilize it. There's a philosophical aspect, there's a human aspect. I like to teach the last two the most. But the math and watching videos about how it's made, I think helps people in the very beginning understand kind of like what we're talking about. Like, where does it come from and how is it made? Okay, great. Now how do we move on to the next step, which is like the philosophy and how do you utilize sacred geometry to make your life better? That's where, I like to come in. So Anyway, that was just a brief tutorial or talk, if you will, about how sound and geometry are intertwined. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my website, lucidvibes.net. Maybe I'll type that in right now. lucidvibes.net. Check out lucidvibes.net. I sell sacred geometry decals and bottles, and well, now we're doing masks with these like dope positive symbols on it. And my logo for my company is actually an elephant's head that I designed completely out of the Platonic solids. I am the sacred geometry geek, man. I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I use it for everything because it works for the universe. It probably should work for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out lucidvibes.net and yeah, have a great day. Peace.